Hello, team. Welcome to Winter Games Day 7 Speed Skating, where we have to take two sets of numbers and compare them to each other. So index 0, index 0, index 1, and we need to find out which one of those has the greatest distance between it. Okay, that translates to a lap. So in this case, it's lap 3, which is 0, 1, 2, right? So 25.92 and 26.53 would have the greatest distance between them. Okay, we can do that right here. We're just going to jump right into it and go const max diff lap, which is, it sounds funny saying it, so I probably picked the wrong name there, but we're going to roll with it. So skater1 dot reduce. Okay, we aren't changing anything about the arrays. We just want to get a piece of information based on those arrays. So reduce will get the job done for us. Okay. We have that accumulator, we have the current, and this time around we're going to include index. Index is going to translate to the lap. It's also going to give us a way of getting into skater 2, okay? Because we need to get a specific piece of skater 2, okay? Just like this. Excellent, okay? Initial values. Initial values are an object. We have a lap, which is 0, and we have the diff time, right? The difference in time, which is also 0. Could these be -1? Absolutely. Could they be negative infinity? They absolutely could be, right? For today, 0 works. You might find that you need it to be a hugely negative number. So negative infinity would work there too, okay? But now we do the math. So const diff equals the current value minus skater 2 index, okay? This could return a negative number, and we only care about positive numbers today. We want the difference. We don't want to be flipping these two based on which is bigger or smaller or anything like that. We just get that diff and find a way to convert it to a positive number, which is math.abs for absolute, okay? So that always gives us a positive number, which means that now down here we can do the work. So if diff is greater than equal to, what is it? It is the accumulator dot diff, okay? Now, I don't know if we need equals, okay? In practice, this will work just with greater than, but hedging my bets, okay? Hedging my bets. If you wanted the very first value, right, then just going with greater than works. If you wanted the very last value, then maybe you need that equal sign. So something to think about, okay? But in here, we return. So if the number is greater than, we return something. What do we return? A new object, okay? Again, this is going to be lap. That's going to be based off of index. It's going to be index plus 1 and diff. We don't need to do anything with diff because this value gets dropped right here, okay? This variable translates directly. So you don't need diff colon diff or anything like that. This is a conditional. We always return something, so we return the accumulator if we don't catch, okay? Grabbing this, bringing it down, dot lap, brilliant, okay? There are things that we could do. We could have extracted this to its own function. We could have extracted this to its own function. That would require an extra step because of skater 2. So in practice, really fast, if I was to grab this, let's do it, pasting it in, I'm going to grab this function, okay? Just to show you what this is like, because you might need to know this, okay? So let's call it function lap diff. I don't even know, right? I don't even know at this point. But pasting it in, getting rid of that fat arrow because we don't need it. Excellent, okay? Now, skater 2. Where does skater 2 come from? Because if we take this, we should be able to take this and drop it right here. And in theory, it should work. But it doesn't because skater 2 is not being passed in. We need a way to do that. And the way that we do that is right here, right at the front of these arguments, okay? We add in our variable, okay? This is going to be other array. The reason I called it other array is because by default, we get an array, okay? We aren't using it today, but by default, we usually get the accumulator, the current, the index, and the array that's being passed in, okay? we want this other array, which means that we need to do some extra work. And what we do here is right down here, making some room just so that we can see it. Brilliant. Okay, we use bind. Okay, so dot bind. We don't care about this value, so just set it to null and then pass in skater2. Okay, and what this does is it takes that value and it drops it in front of all of these. So if you're using map or filter or anything like that, and you wanted to pass in an extra value, it goes to the front. Okay, and at this point it should still work. It absolutely does. Is it better? I don't think so. Okay, I really don't. I did want to teach the bind because I think it's a cool little trick for when you are stuck in those situations where you have to do this, but I find it to be messy. Okay, I really do. I think it would be better just to take this whole function and bring it out to its own function, or this whole bit of code, bring it out to its own function and have it work there. At which point it leads to the question, well, did we actually do anything? Because largest difference, we're getting the skaters, we're returning the lap, we're doing the work. So do we need to extract that to its own function? Probably not. But we learned a little bit about bind, right? And that's the important thing, because bind is useful. Useful in so many ways. In this case, we are creating a new function, binding that value so that we can use it in here, along with everything else, those default arguments that are passed in using reduce. Okay, and that's it. Like that was a lot. So the fast track is just to use a reduce. We compare against those two variables, right? Getting a diff between the two current indexes in those arrays. And then if that diff is greater than the previous diff, we update our accumulator. Otherwise, we just return it. Okay. And then, of course, all this magic to play around with bind. Did you find another way? Did you find this interesting? Did you find bind to be confusing or unnecessary, right? Hit me up in those comments. Let me know. Otherwise, for today, this has been Winter Games Day 7, which is speed skating, and I will see you tomorrow.